What's cracking to people? Anansi here and welcome to a new project on the channel. This is Jade Empire for the original Xbox. Um, this game, this game was created by, as you can see in the bottom right corner there, BioWare. This was their first game after coming off the runaway success that was Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Um, and much like Sudeki, this is one of those games that has unfortunately faded into the realm of memory. Only people who actually played it when it first came out really know how great it is. Don't need to do that anymore. Um, now I'm gonna make mention right now. I'm actually playing the special edition of Jade Empire. What does that mean? Well, it means that I get an extra character, um, Monk Zeng. Though not as physically strong as others, a magical character is the best at channeling his chi to enhance physical strength and fuel powerful elemental magics. Basically, here's how this works. As opposed to Knights of the Old Republic, where most character creator games, most RPGs that let you generally kind of create a general template of your character. All of Jade Empire's pre-built characters are going to look the way that they look, and they each have a different speciality that makes them unique in terms of starting. Now, I want to keep this in mind. What you see is not exactly what you get. You can, if you so choose, pick a physical appearance, but then change the attributes that make this character what they are in terms of the presets. Essentially, you're deciding between the auto path and the manual path of leveling. For instance, Tiger Shen, he's a strong character. He trades speed and magical aptitude for raw strength and power. So he's pretty much your heavy hitter character. Then there's Radiant Gen Z, it says Gen Z, but I'm pretty sure that Z is pronounced something different. Her starting styles are Thousand Cuts and Heavenly Wave. Every one of these characters has Heavenly Wave as their starting style. But their other moves could be something different. So Furious Ming and Radiant Gen Z has Thousand Cuts. Those are their main attack styles. Scholar Ling and Monk Zen, both magic types, have Leaping Tiger. Lu the Prodigy and Wu the Lotus Blossom are balanced characters. They have legendary strikes. So for instance, magic characters are not physically strong. We already went through this one. Balanced characters are not the fastest or the strongest, whereas the balanced character is the most versatile. The balanced character excels in adapting to exploit her enemy's weaknesses. So basically, they do gender pronouns and whatnot to better illustrate what character does what. Fast characters are not the strongest, but can maintain focus in battle longer than others, easily sidestepping strikes and delivering counterattacks with blinding speed. Now, what you don't realize is that this text actually refers to specific stats. We'll get into that in a second here, but I want to kind of point out that when I usually play Jade Empire, I usually pick one of three characters. I either pick a Furious Ming, Wu the Lotus Blossom, or Scholar Ling. I've never actually used Monk Zen, though trust me, it doesn't really make any difference. There really isn't much flavor text depending on what character you pick. It only really changes two things in the game per character. Now we're going to go with Furious Ming. Now, here are the stats that are dictated by your character if you just do the auto upgrade. Your body is your strength. Your spirit is your magic. Your mind is your fast characters, essentially. So, Furious Ming, he specializes in focus, and I usually do focus myself when I try to do this. So what I do is I put my first two in focus, put one here, and then put one in health, and kind of have it balanced out like that. So he always defers to focus more often than not. Balanced characters, they usually balance out, so like there would be equal distribution of all stats across the character. And we'll get more and more into what each stat does and how you're going to utilize it as we go through this game. Just know that the numbers next to it, like your 130 and 140, they don't mean jack. Don't worry about it. Trust me, don't worry about it. Next you get to choose your fighting style. By default, you have the Heavenly Wave. We'll get into that in a little bit. Furious Ming's default style is Thousand Cuts. It's basically a quick jabbing style. Leaping Tiger, White Demon, but we're going to go with the Legendary Strike. That's what I prefer. But that's what I prefer as my default style, no matter what. And it's pretty much just makes you Bruce Lee. So I'm going to select this. Now I want to make abundantly clear. Just because you don't learn one of these styles to start off with, does not mean you will not learn it later. Every style in this game can be learned. This game has a very interesting combat mechanic. Let's accept this custom character, and let's name him how do you alright, you do it like that. Like this. Go like that. We're gonna use a rather different name actually than what you think I would use, and go from there. And done. Zen Cipher with the Heavenly Wave and Legendary Strike. Let's get to it.
I swear, one of these days I'll find a way around your guard.
So now we have the ability to pick our responses like a proper RPG, and I like to think I'm a bit of a jokester, so I could blindfold myself. That might even the odds.
For all that, he's trained you to be the best of us. You're not Master Lee yet. I would welcome another match with you, though. Let's say one more before we break for the day.
I am rarely beaten, friend.
Let us begin.
And with this, we start our tutorial. Now you press A to attack, try to hit Jingwu several times. Boom, there we go. Press B while standing still to block basic attacks. Try blocking a few of Jingwu's attacks. Well done. Use Chi heal, white button, to challenge Chi to heal yourself. So on the original Xbox, now remember, I should mention that Jade was an Xbox exclusive game. It came out on the on Steam a while ago, but on the original Xbox you had your 5 face buttons, and then you had 2 more buttons underneath them, the black and white button. The white button heals you, and you use your Chi to do so. Powerful attacks can overcome your foe's defense. Press X to break through Jingwu's block. So, this is your charge move. You can use B or in the left stick to evade powerful strikes. You're basically going to be jumping around like a martial arts master. Trust me on this. And it honestly makes this one of the most interesting fighting games I've ever played in my life. Now we gotta beat Jingwu. Now one thing that this game that the tutorial doesn't teach you is that if you hit the black button, you do double damage. Well, you don't do double damage, but you do increased damage to your opponent. Your Chi is pretty like every well.
Did you see? Master Li was watching. He may not show it, but he clearly takes pride in watching his students practice. I learn something every time we meet, proving that loss sometimes is the best teacher. Thank the heavens the bruises are worth it.
Now, I could be really mean. Each bruise is a mark of your failure to learn our master's teachings, but I'm not that kind of guy. So let's just be like, thank you for the bout.
You are gracious as always. I regret that there won't be much time for such practice now that you've almost finished your training. Master Li told me to pass on that you should speak to him when you have the chance. He said you could take your time, so you need not rush.
Where is Master Li again?
Master Li just went into his house. It's just over there, as always. You have some time to wander the school and talk with other students. Smiling Mountain likely has some of the younger students available if you want to spar. I shall leave you to it. Take care, my friend.
Chapter 1, wherein a master foretells of doom, a rival challenges for station. In the past haunts the present. Your training nears its completion in the idyllic setting of Two Rivers. Master Li promises that soon you will know more about how you came here and where your future will lead. All the while, strange tales begin to spread of ghosts that will not rest and shadowy assassins who heed no law. Ooh, ominous. So, as I was saying, you use the black button to do more damage, and this makes this one of the most interesting RPGs that I've ever played, given that it's an active battle system. Now, given that we have time before we need to do Master Li's main mission, we head over here and we go up to here. We can do Master Li's teaching. Your earliest memories of the town of Two Rivers, the school you call home. The school you call your home, and of Master Li, the man who raised and trained you from birth. Now, as your lessons draw to a close, you can only wonder what the future has in store. Basic RPG plot. See, they were very eager to get into the sparring ring. Now, since we have time, what we're going to do is I'm going to wander around the village, wander around the school, and just kind of show off what it is you can do while you're on your free time. So if we go over here and hit A on this, auspicious portents. Understanding the stars in the universe is a very important goal. By examining the universe, we can interpret and predict things to come. The sky is where the great dragon was said to dwell, and in his illustrious home we can see the signs of his effects on creation. Of the observable phenomena, three major ones are the most auspicious: comets, the flames of the heavens, passing across the sky; eclipses, during which the power of the gods block the sun for brief periods; and falling stars, marking the descent of one of the celestial bureaucracy to the earth. And honestly, that should pretty much set the tone for the game. We're going to be doing a lot of philosophical, wording. So be prepared to feel like you're having people talk to you in circles. Trust me, it's all body experience, and it really is worth it. As you kind of run this point home, let's start with something pretty basic here. Your stat menu. Over here, you have your character record. We are level 1. You see our overall stats, but you'll also see our character in a kind of a grove, and you see next to him an alignment bar. This alignment bar is not what it seems at first. Once again, conversation skills. Oh yeah. Also, depending on what you put your points into, will determine what your conversation skills are. So if you put more time into your body and spirit, you have more intimidation. But your mind and spirit, you get more intuition. Your body and mind, you get more charm. We're more than likely going to have a lot more of charm and intuition than intimidation, because I just don't build my character like that. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If you know what you're doing, You really shouldn't have much need to have your health up really freaking high. So let's start with, can we talk to these two here? Student and Student Lin.
Our most senior student has a spare moment to spend with me? An honor. No, wait, I shouldn't be like that. Master Li always reminds me that jealousy is a low path and not worthy of one of his students. I understand your training is almost complete. I wonder who will replace you as our example. It certainly won't be me. I can't even imagine Master Li saying, "You must strive to be like Lin in all things," to the others. Just the opposite, more likely.
If you want if you want Master Lee to say it, don't give him a choice. Be the best you can. Don't worry about following others. Walk your own path. You lack the skills and the discipline to be a leader. Now, you can kind of see his face changes there to kind of match like what he's saying, or like match like the attitude. Like if he's being really happy, yeah, like okay, good looking, neutral, have a neutral face. So it all depends on kind of like what it is you want to do, and when you interact with people. Let's give her some encouragement. If you want Master Lee to say it, don't give him a choice. Be the best you can. Actually, no, wait, better yet, we're gonna, this is a good one. Which one do I want to start with? Yeah, don't worry about following others. Walk your own path.
That's easy enough for you to say. You're already the best in the school. The rest of us just stare at your back. Of course, there could be worse views. Maybe I should spend more time training and less time worrying about where I stand in the school. How else will I be good enough to take you down one of these days? Besides, there might be bigger things to worry about. I find myself intrigued by the ghost tales that everyone's mentioning.
You know everyone around here. Is there any news?
You think I will talk about them behind their backs? I will, but I don't want people to think of me as the local gossip, even if I am just that.
Who are the students of note?
Of note? There's only one student of note, and that would be you. Everyone else, even Dawnstar, is just a background for you and your supposed destiny. Not that you don't deserve the attention. I'd be flirting with you non-stop if you weren't so focused on whatever it is Master Li has in store for you. All of us get a little envious of that. Even Gao gets pushed aside, and he doesn't like being anything less than the center of attention.
Tell me about Gao.
You know him as well as I do. A rich man's son. He's attractive, I suppose, but arrogance follows him like a cloud of locusts. I hear his father is the same way. Gao the Greater and Gao the Lesser. Not a family I would want to be a part of.
Who names their kid Gao the Lesser? I mean, I get that it's like they're trying to avoid making a game that's very clearly centered around, what I can only assume to be Chinese culture, and try to make it as true to that culture and whatever philosophies come with it as they can, and not having me called Gao Jr. But I feel like Gao the Lesser is just not something you name your kid. Tell me about Dawnstar.
Why do you need to ask me about Dawnstar? You know her better than anyone as far as I'm concerned. You two practically grew up together. Frankly, I think she might have a little crush on you too. Notice how she's been less willing to train with you recently? Maybe that's why you two get along so well. Maybe her sense for ghosts and the like meshes well with the great destiny Master Li sees for you.
What are you getting at?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be like that. Dawnstar is a fine person. She just sees things that I can't. I know there are ghosts and spirits, but why should she be able to sense them when I can't? What makes her special? While Master Li tries to never let it show, he obviously holds a special place in his heart for you two. I suppose that's hard to deal with, even if I have been here far less time than you two.
What have you heard about me?
You know what is said. Master Li believes you're special, but won't say why. It makes you Interesting. Some of the others don't find it as intriguing as I do. Some even consider it an attack on their worth.
Hmm. Who should I be concerned about?
Gao, obviously. You know he doesn't like you, he never has. And when Master Li tells him to model himself after you, that just makes it worse.
Okay. Let's go back to my other questions.
If you wish. What do you want to ask about?
And honestly, there are worse ways to get exposition across in a game like this, especially considering that this game is Bioware is following one of the cardinal rules of creating a world, and that is making it feel lived in, making everything seem as natural as everyday life for us. But we still kind of have to, kind of sift through a lot of dialogue to get here, and that's part of RPGs too. So we're probably going to just spend a little bit more time talking to. Actually, you know what? So we got a couple here. Let's go with what do you think of Master Li?
Master Li took me in when no one else would. He is a firm master, but a kind man deep inside.
How did Master Li come here?
I imagine that he walked. If you want anything more than that, you'll have to ask someone who was here at the time. That was 20 years ago.
Ooh. Who was Master Li? Who was Master before Master Li?
I really don't know or care. It may as well have been Sagacious Tien, the first emperor. That was before I was born.
Let's go back to my other questions.
If you wish. What do you want to ask about?
No, you can always come back to Lin at any point in the game. Well, not at any point in the game, but at any point in the tutorial, and ask these questions again. This is one of the downsides to early RPGs is that, well, even RPGs even to this day, a lot of them just have the exact same dialogue over and over again. But that's just the territory. Otherwise, it's slow. But once this game gets going, oh boy, does it get going! Tell me what you've been hearing about ghosts.
Other than what Dawnstar senses, all I have is stories, but they're becoming more and more common. Tales of people being haunted by loved ones, and mad ghosts attacking people on the roads, or even in their homes. And Master Li accepts Dawnstar's ability to see and sense things others can't. If he believes her, then how could I believe otherwise?
What exactly are what exactly are these ghosts?
They're exactly what you'd expect. The souls of humans who have died. According to all the legends, when you die, your soul travels to the underworld. Once there, your soul is judged and placed upon the wheel of life, so that it can return to this world in a new life. A soul that doesn't return to the wheel of life becomes a ghost.
Where do these ghosts come from?
According to the stories, ghosts are usually people whose souls are trapped in this world, either by circumstance or because they won't let go of their old lives. The thing is, those circumstances are very rare, and you never heard about ghosts 10 years ago. Now everyone's talking about them. It's like something has happened, and people aren't leaving this world like they should be. Either that or it's mass hysteria, but I can't believe that explanation.
So it looks like we're going to be dealing with ghosts as we go into the world. Interesting. Tell me more about Dawnstar's sensitivity.
From what I understand, Dawnstar is very sensitive to magic and to the spirits we call ghosts. She sees things that others can't. Sometimes she knows things that she shouldn't. I really can't say if it's intuition or something else.
So, what do ghosts look like?
That was my first question when I started hearing these rumors. Apparently they can look just like us, though possibly pale and faded. Some ghosts have been around a long time, and apparently they begin to change. They grow distant from their bodies and become more monsters than people. The scary thing is that a lot of the stories I've been hearing are about these old ghosts, the ones that look like monsters. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, so we're not going to deal with the average type of ghost. It's going to be something kind of different. Back to my other questions.
If you wish. What do you want to ask about?
I don't think we've ever talked about you, Lynn.
I'm sure you've figured out most of my little quirks by now. I've been here a few years.
How did you come here? And why?
I wasn't the delicate flower my family had hoped for. They believed school would calm my spirit. But Master Li has shown me how to focus myself. I have learned many skills while here, and not many of them require that I be delicate.
What will you do? What will you do when you are done training here?
When I am done? I haven't really thought about it. I won't go home. There's no place for me there. If I can stomach the books, I could become a scholar. Perhaps I'll go to the Imperial City. I should see it at least once in my life.
Let's go back to my other
If you
questions.
wish. What do you want to ask about?
And now for the final one. Would you be interested in sparring?
Of course. I have to keep practicing if I'm going to be able to best you one day, aren't I?
Let's begin.
Excellent. Let's see if we can use Smiling Mountain's sparring ground. Once we're done, I'll wander back here if you need me again.
And just like that, we're ready to go. Oh, by the way, you don't have to. You don't have to actually block to do the dodge. All you do is hit the B button. All right, 40 skill points, and here is Smiling Mountain. I'm gonna see what he has to say.
I thought Master Li would have your attention for the rest of the day. It is good to see you. I know you haven't had much time for simple sparring. It is too bad. Your fellow students benefit from your experience. A strong opponent is the best trainer.
Can I ask you some things about the school?
I am charged with giving whatever instruction I can, but my insights deal more with the philosophy of combat than the skills themselves.
Tell me about the philosophies you mentioned.
Master Li is very strict about what is taught here, because martial skill is a pathway to great power, and that holds certain risks. It is not just good over evil. Few things in life are that simple. The common way to say it is, do you follow the way of the open palm or the closed fist?
Tell me about the way of the open palm.
A term for the high path, or perhaps the way of restraint and harmony. Many aspire to it, but few achieve it. It is a path of resisting tyranny. Of course, the source of that tyranny varies. It is just as dangerous coming from without as within.
Give me examples.
Tyranny from external sources is easy to find and fight. Defending those who cannot defend themselves is a reasonable example. But when your abilities are so much greater than those around you, there is the temptation to set everything right by might alone. That is tyranny from within.
Sometimes conflict cannot be avoided.
True, but that can become a convenient excuse. Eventually you may decide that even direct violence is too inefficient for someone of your strength. It is a small leap from there to enforcing your will so that the crime never takes place. Suddenly you are the oppressor, when all you wanted to do was make things right. This way of the open palm is not without its hidden dangers, despite the best of intentions.
Interesting. So remember that alignment chart I showed you earlier? That was the alignments of the open palm and the closed fist. Your light path and your dark path. But as opposed to Knights of the Old Republic, where, there's a very clear-cut good versus evil, Jade Empire takes a more gray approach to it. As Smiling Mountain just said, the way of the open palm is essentially the high path. But to quote Batman the Dark Knight, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's the open palm. But what about the way of the closed fist? Tell me about the way of the closed fist.
It is the low path. the way of aggression and discord, a misunderstood path often misused by those who wish to justify a thuggish nature. It is not as simple as crushing your enemies or as mindless as terrorizing the weak. It is a mindset born of impatience, of imposing your will.
So, what is it, if it is not evil?
An evil man might ignore a plea for help because he does not care, but that shows a disconnection with the world. That is not part of the way. A man on the low path might also ignore that plea, but he would do so because that person should demonstrate they are fit to survive on their own.
What is the difference? The person dies each time.
The difference is in the details. That same man might help if the odds are unreasonable. He might also do it to incur favor. There is thought in his actions. He is not a mindless killer, but he may let strength decide what course is best. That is why it is a dangerous path. It can so easily be misinterpreted.
Basically, the high path is the path of, the open path is the high path. Your holier than thou people who can, well, basically is the epitome of the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but the way of the closed fist isn't for the outright evil. It's essentially tough love or an eye for an eye. That's simple. And we'll get more and more into like the philosophies of these paths, because I think it's a really interesting way to do the alignment system in this particular game. But it has its benefits and drawbacks, and we'll get into those as we get into those. Does this have any practical effect?
You are the sum of your actions. The harmony or discord that you sow will weigh on your shoulders as surely as any physical yoke. But there can be advantages. Certain forms of attack inherently lean toward one extreme or the other. They have a rhythm that resonates within you. You may find that some attacks perform better if you are more intent on causing discord. How you use this is for you to discover and decide.
Okay. What about my previous questions?
I am charged with giving whatever instruction I can, but my
Let's go ahead and skip this right now. I want to ask about someone specific.
Who are you interested in?
Tell me what you know of Master Li.
Master Li is a private man, and I will not presume to speak for him. His interest in you surpasses the care of any master I have known. He must see great potential in you.
Tell me about Gao.
I'd rather not. He is impatiently traveling the low path, and I long ago abandoned him to it. He is reckless, and he neither seeks nor wants my guidance. As young as he is, Gao has impressive skill. Master Li has tried to restrain him, but I know how far he has gone. He wields powerful energies, but has the temper of a child.
So essentially, Master Li is a very well-respected individual in the school and, well, the village, and Gao's a spoiled brat who wants to get everything handed to him on a platter. Where did he learn this if Master Li will not teach it?
Master Li has taught the base of such techniques to you and others. Mastering Qi is important for any student here, but he also demands control. Gao's father most likely tutored him. By all that I have heard, both are impatient and spoiled. They can be provoked into explosive outbursts.
Something to keep in mind. What do you know about Dawnstar?
Only what she lets me know. A very private woman, despite spending so long in the school. You probably know her as well as anyone does. She has great skill, but a reluctance to use it. If she were to let go, she could be very powerful. Perhaps that is what she fears.
Fear thyself, okay. I want to ask about you.
If you wish, but only introspection reveals true insight. I used to call the trading center of Phoenix Gate my home, but I am settled here. I have nothing to go back to.
Why did you leave Phoenix Gate?
It is not important. Suffice to say that I prefer this little village to the temptations of a greater city. Enough about me. What else can I do for you?
Doesn't want to talk about his past. How long have you taught here?
It has been several years since I arrived in Two Rivers. I was surprised to find a teacher of Master Li's ability so far out on the borderlands. It was a fortuitous accident. I have studied the martial arts all my life, and serve your master as I am able. He is devoted to your training and needs someone to assist the other students.
So Master Lee is more interested in teaching me and Dawnstar, who is apparently a really close friend of mine, over the other students, so Smiling Mountain substitutes in his place what he cannot teach them directly. We'll go back to my previous questions.
I am charged.
Okay. What kind of items and additional training do you sell?
Ah, yes, training. For some time now, I have offered, for a small fee, to run students through a short regimen that will help them enhance their abilities. The lessons you learn from me, or from any trainer for that matter, will stay with you and help make you stronger, or better able to focus your mind or magic.
Why is there a fee?
Training has worth, and Master Lee allows me to collect a small fee to reinforce this. Travel outside 2 rivers and you will find my prices are quite reasonable.
Okay. Show me what you have.
Let's see what you can learn.
So basically, what this does, right? What Smiling Mountain teaches you is that you're going to bump into 2 kind of vendors in the world. Vendors who teach you techniques and vendors who teach you action styles. Basically, he teaches you Smiling Mountain teaches you techniques. The belly of iron, the heart of gold, and the mind of steel. These are very basic abilities, and you do want to try to get these. What these do is that they add on to certain base attributes you already have. For instance, the belly of iron gives you +3 health, but you lose 1 chi. The heart of gold gives you 3 chi, but you lose 1 focused. The mind of steel gives you 3 focus, but you lose 1 health. If you get all of these, you basically get a net of +2 in every single stat. And I highly recommend getting these. Trust me, they do help out later on. Let's talk to him one more time.
What can I do for you? I am here to serve and train.
What kind of items? Okay, so let's go here. You're not teaching new styles then?
No, I try to improve base abilities, but through the basics that Master Lee has instilled. When you have the opportunity, I'm sure you will pick up new styles quickly.
Okay, so I'll pass for now. Are there students available to spar with?
There are a few, but not enough for me to set up some of the more challenging matches that I'm sure you would prefer. There will be more students available later in the day when many of their exercises have concluded.
Okay. I will spar with a single student.
Very well. I'll choose someone who is competent in one-on-one combat. This is only a practice bout, so fight until your opponent is knocked out. Get ready.
Now, we can't do everything Smiling Mountain has to offer us right now, but it does help to do this to start off because it will help later on. That was pretty fast.
Very good. Another victory well earned. Now, is there anything else you would like?
That's it for right now. I should go.
Goodbye. I am here if you need anything.
So, basically, we're going to be spending this tutorial like we would any other tutorial in an RPG. Gaining experience, learning how the world works, and really just getting used to combat. If you're not sold on it yet, which I won't deny, it was a hard sell for me when I first rented this game way back in the day from Hollywood Video. Back when that was still a thing. Rest in peace. That's funny. It's honestly funny. I'm gonna feel so old now, but I remember when Blockbuster and Hollywood Video went out of business. I've been alive long enough to see 2 video rental stores go out of business. One that sold N64 cartridges, and others that sold compact discs. I'm not that old. I sound like it, but I honest to God am not. But yeah, no, we're going to continue our adventure in Jade Empire and learn more about the school next time. I've been Anansi, you've been awesome, and I'll catch you later.